I think that, the computer changed everything, in the early 90s, changed everything when audio went digital. And, there's good and bad to that transition. I mean, there's no doubt that, what we do in the analog world sounds better. That's why most, big music artists are still, even though a lot of what they do is digital, there's usually a big analog component to it. Not so much in hip hop, but in most other genres, and not so much obviously in EDM. But a lot of those files that are being used are also originally analog recordings and so on. But not to go off on a tangent about analog and digital, but your question about home studios and so on, I think there's some great creativity that comes out of put together environments. You don't need a great big studio to make great art. You need great ideas to make great art.
Right.
So having a big studio makes it easier. It's you're giving better tools to the artist, but it's still it's not the brush, it's the painter.
Right.
So I think that the what's happened is, I grew up in an era where you felt like if you got into a recording studio, it was an amazing experience, that it was life changing, and you felt like you'd passed through some big iron gate when you got in there. And now the whole process has been democratized. So more and more and more and more people have access to recording tools, or to the how to do it through education. We didn't have education in this area when I was trying to learn it so much. We had classical education, but not what I'll call so much practical education. So I just think that it's become a big melting pot, and to some degree the gatekeepers have been kind of pushed to the side, which is a good thing.
That was my next question. How do you sort of look at that? You look at it as a positive, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because now artists that would otherwise have been, kind of barred for one reason or another from getting their art out there are no longer in that situation.
Don't forget, you can subscribe to our full audio episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find your audio podcasts. The full episodes, highlights, and our live off-the-floor performance videos can be found at our YouTube channel, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the AVB Podcast. Of course, you'll find links to our incredible sponsors and this week's guest in the description below. The AVB Podcast is part of the Border City Network. Find more great content at bordercitynetwork.com. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.